Hey everybody, you know me, I'm Win, head sommelier bourbon steak, and I am here recording episode 1 of our bourbon steak wine training videos. I am really excited to be finally hitting the record button on this. This is an idea I've had going on up here for a long time, and I hope that this makes our wine training a little bit more accessible, a little bit more fun, and maybe a little bit more interactive once we get going with it. I think it's just a better way for you to get you a visual kind of education of the wine, as well as what we usually say in pre-shift and might send out on emails, etc. And I hope that this is the first of many. Certainly, I'll get a few in the can and get them out to you. Get some comments and suggestions. I'm sure I'm going to do 50,000 things wrong in this video, but that's okay. It's our first one. So here we go. We're going to start with one of our newest wines by the glass. This is the King family Petit Verdot 2015 vintage. This is from Virginia. Why are we pouring this by the glass? Well, number 1, it's delicious. And 2, wanted to have one of these wines on the wine list for a while. I've been a big fan of the King family wines for a couple of years. I think their winemaker does a really nice job and highlighting the great and local wine industry of Virginia is also obviously super important. So here we go. I want to start off with just a little bit of history about the winery. So this is King family. The Kings moved from Texas up to the Charlottesville area in 1995. And they bought a 300-ish acre farm and found out for some locals that they had some good vineyard land. So that kind of piqued their interest. They planted some vines, and their first fruit-bearing vintage was 2000. What they did was they sold off most of their fruit, but they kept a little bit behind and made 480 cases. Pretty modest first vintage, and it went really well. They sold everything, and all of a sudden in 2001 they kept some more fruit, and they went from 480 to 1,050 cases in just 1 year. So they are off to a rip-roaring good start. In 2002 they opened their first winery. They have since opened and built a newer winery in 2013. It's really beautiful, very spacious. And one thing of note, I think, is to say that up until 2007, Michael Shaps was their winemaker, who is a major player in winemaking in Virginia, especially in that Charlottesville area. You will see wines with his name on it on our wine list as well. Currently, you can find the Michael Shaps Tanat from Virginia on the wine list. And interestingly enough, he makes wine in Burgundy. If you flip over on our wine list to red Burgundy, we have his Pommard on the wine list as well. So Michael Shaps was their guy until 2007 when a gentleman named Mathieu Finot took over. Matthew is a Frenchman. He is born and raised in Crozes-Hermitage, which is right in the middle of Northern Rhone wine country. So he has a lot of experience with vines there. He, like Michael, learned how to make wine in Burgundy. He traveled all over, like many winemakers do, just to learn different techniques from all over the world, and became their winemaker in 2007. And he is doing a great job with standard bottlings like Meritage, Petit Verdot, Cabernet, Chardonnay, and he has some experimental wines. Has some orange wines too, which are kind of weird. But if you're into that sort of thing, you should check him out. Another thing we're checking out is the winery itself. If you're ever down around the Charlottesville area, definitely go to King Family. If you're there on a Sunday, you could see one of their very well-attended polo matches. If you've never seen a polo match, I have not yet, but I'd love to go down and check it out. Apparently they're pretty cool, and the polo fields are huge. So take a beautiful Sunday, drive on down to Charlottesville, and go check it out. All right, so let's get into the wine, because that's why we're all kind of here. So pour a little bit of this. Petit Verdot has amazing color. So Petit Verdot is usually blended into Cabernet, Merlot, other things for color and really big floral aromatics specifically. So it's really cool to kind of see it stand on its own here, which I'll get into in a second. So let's take a look at the color. Got a fancy little device over here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll show it to you in a second. But really, really dense color. I would say that's certainly purple down through the middle of it. Maybe a little bit of like a magenta-ish rim. I think it looks a little orange because of this gold thing I have next to it. I'm going to show you my fancy little device here. Look at this. That is a box of tissues with 4 books and a briefing sheet flipped over to make this happen here. But anyways, it's working pretty well. And as you see, as I spin it around, there's a lot of staining going on in the glass. This glass is super purple. You can kind of see it right here as I swirl it as well. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we'll try something different next time. But that's the color. So really deep purple, high intensity, really, really vibrant, dark purple color, which is what Petit Verdot is known for. So let's do step number 2 and give it a smell. So this wine is intense. It is very easy to smell this wine. Wine has definitely got a lot of ripe, red, purple, black fruits, a whole lot of stuff going on. Blackberries, strawberries, really ripe plum, definitely some blackberry, blueberry things going on here. All really ripe, juicy, maybe a little cooked going on here. You can kind of tell already on the nose this is going to be pretty big, pretty unctuous style of wine. Some non-fruits going on here. It's really, really cool. It has like a really intense, like dried leaf, rose and lavender potpourri. Some pine needles, which I think is kind of indicative of Petit Verdot. Mint, eucalyptus for days. Maybe a little bit of bitter chocolate espresso. There's definitely some new oak on this wine. So what am I smelling? I'm smelling vanilla. I'm smelling baking spices like cinnamon, cardamom. I think the alcohol is high. It's making me cough a little bit. Toast, berries, earthiness, kind of that leafy thing that I got going on. A little bit of like a damp moss forest floor, but it's definitely a New World fruit-forward, oak-driven wine at the end of the day on the nose. So let's give it a taste. Smell the wine after you spit. It's a new trick I learned. It helps. And always breathe out through your nose also after you spit or swallow a wine. This wine's really good. Very similar to what you were expecting from the nose going into the palate. Lots of really baked blueberry, blackberry, raspberry, strawberries going on here. The non-fruits are very similar. Lots of florals, lots of like potpourri, lavender dust, pine needles, kind of like a almost like a charred pine cone kind of thing going on here. And again, those oak notes are there too. There's some vanilla, cinnamon, cedar. It's not overbearing. It's not like doesn't give it any sweetness or anything. The wine is dry, which is important. And talking about structure here, it's a pretty big wine. The acid level is definitely at medium plus. It has a refreshing quality to it. What else have we got here? The alcohol is high. What do we got on here? We've got 13.8% alcohol. We'll say that's high alcohol this time. Usually 14 is kind of where we draw the line there, but kind of depending on how it drinks also. I would say this is a high alcohol wine. The wine is definitely full-bodied. The wine's tannins are, I would say they're medium plus. They're not painful by any means, and they can be on Petit Verdot. So this is really, really well done by Matthew. We've got some really elegant grip going on. Definitely craving some red meat, some filet, some New York strip, maybe some dry aged meats. Maybe not my favorite for the Wagyu on the menu, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty big red wine. So if someone's looking for a big red wine, I think this could definitely do the trick here. So, $17 a glass. That's going to be $68 a bottle. That's kind of a steal for the amount of wine you get in this glass. Yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you liked it. Please let me know if you didn't like it. Suggestions, comments, concerns, requests are all fair game. So, thanks for watching.